Wow, still a full room. Thank you all for sticking around this afternoon and participating in the closing remarks. I have a few comments that, the usual data and such to present to you. I'll take my glasses off because there's a terrible glare. But before I do, I want to introduce a member of the board, Greg Dendy. I'm sure you know him, and he's going to make some special thank yous for me.
Thank you, Betty. And thank you all for coming here. We are reaching the end of this NANOG 66, so I do want to take a few minutes to thank a lot of people, in particular our membership. Without your support and guidance, a lot of this wouldn't happen the way we like it to. Our attendees, because this would be a really awkward room right now if you weren't here. So thank you very much for coming. And our committees. The Communications Committee does a lot of good work to maintain our mailing lists and keep everyone aware of what's going on via social media. And our Program Committee, without whom, again, this would be a really awkward room if we didn't have the program. In particular, I want to call out, we have 4 members of the Program Committee who have given 4 years of their life and are now terming out. Now, in particular, that's Tony Tauber, Michael Sinatra, Greg Hankins, and Manish Career. If you're here, please stand up. Tony, I saw him here. Thank you. Michael. Greg may not be here. Seriously, these guys have been sweating and bleeding the program for 4 years and have done a fantastic job. Thank you very much. And someone else I want to thank, they're too humble to actually put themselves on this slide, but Betty, Valerie, and Day, our professional staff, executive director. Again, thank you very much. Thank you, Betty. And with that, back to you, Betty.
The message here as part of the closing and with some of my colleagues here is this is a team effort to produce NANOG shows. So thank you, Greg, for recognizing the staff, but I want to recognize the board as well. I couldn't do it without them. So I thought I would share with you, even though the survey is open for another week, so please go take the survey. You won't get a prize for it. But I did a look at the early survey results, and I thought it was important to share with you some of the comments that your colleagues are making about this event. So, of course, I picked positive ones. No. Great cutting-edge content relevant to research. So that's really important, I think, in our industry, that we're bringing to you content that at least this individual felt was cutting edge and relevant. And evaluate to network with current clients at a reasonable cost. Really important to me that we can deliver that to you at a reasonable cost. So anyways, just a sampling that we do look at this data. We really, really do review it and summarize it. So if you haven't shared your comments, please do. At this time, I'd like to introduce some folks who participate in our NCI program. Again, leading into that research and education track that's part of NANOG and speaking to the future. Kevin? Better have someone who's actually delivering come up and speak to you.
Thanks, Betty. So, Betty asked me to come up and speak for a few minutes about the NANOG College Immersion Program. And I wanted to come up and spend that few minutes telling you what that program is and describing the problem statement of what we're trying to solve with this program. I've been coming to NANOG semi-regularly for 18 years, working for profit organizations, currently for Netflix, which is great, by the way. But I'm going to take that hat off and put on my academic hat, specifically for the University of Colorado, where I've been teaching for 15 years in the Interdisciplinary Telecommunications Master's Program, kind of a mouthful. In that program, I teach a course that focuses on things like how the internet works, how BGP works, the economics and politics of peering and de-peering. I might know a little bit about that. And during that time, what I've seen, especially in the last few years, is that network engineering and network operations is not as sexy as it was when I started. Things that are sexy for students are applications development for smartphones and tablets, designing products that work in or around or through the cloud, whatever that is. And ultimately, they're working towards being the director of business development somewhere, although I don't actually know what that role is. But anyway, what they're not finding interesting is network engineering and net ops. And I think it's no surprise to anyone here that filling those roles at your companies is getting increasingly difficult. The pool's getting smaller, the demand is getting larger, and we just need more bodies. And that's where the college immersion program really comes into play. What we've been working towards is taking a handful of students from a handful of institutions, bringing them here to NANOG, and showing them that this really is an industry that they can have a great career, a place where we have really hard problems to solve and really innovative technologies to apply to those problems. And we need smart people to come help us solve that. So far, it seems like it's working. We've had this running for 4 NANOGs since NANOG 63. We've brought 41 students from 4 different institutions to the last 4 NANOGs, or at least collectively to the last 4 NANOGs. And from what I've observed, the first time, the allocations that I received for the University of Colorado, I had trouble filling them. I had trouble finding students that would come to this conference, completely sponsored. This last NANOG, NANOG 66, I received 5 slots. I had an easy 30 and probably 40 students who wanted to attend from our program, which is great. We hope that that continues and that we see that in more programs and more institutions across the country. We want to intercept those students earlier in their academics and convince them that this is a great place to be and a great place to have a career. So hopefully it's going to work. With that, I want to thank the board of directors and Betty specifically for recognizing that this is actually a problem and choosing to have an active role in helping to fix it. It's not a trivial amount of money to bring 40 some odd students to NANOGs and sponsor them. So thank you to the board, first off. Second, I want to thank the students themselves who are attending. Walking into a room with 1,000 network professionals for a career that you might wish to pursue cold is pretty difficult, pretty intimidating. It's intimidating to me today. So I can only imagine how intimidated they are. And they've done it with excellent professionalism, and it's been great. All the feedback I've gotten is very positive, both from the participants and the folks who've interacted with them. And third, and probably most important, I want to thank everyone in the room who has interacted with these students or that will in the future interact with these students, and encourage you to keep doing that. Every one of those interactions is pure gold for the students. It's good for you, it's good for NANOG, and it's good for the industry, so please keep it up. Last, I would like to introduce Ms. Harshiva Macha, who is one of the 10 students that we have at this NANOG, and one of the 5 from the University of Colorado, and she's going to speak a few words about her experiences over the past couple of days.
Hello everyone, my name is Harshiva Macha, and I'm here at the dais on this pleasant evening to say something on behalf of all my fellow students from the University of Colorado Boulder. Networking is what we enjoy, be it social or technical, and NANOG's college immersion program has given us exactly what we need. It has been true honor to interact with some great people here, and we are excited to be leaving with some much more awareness and coherence than we had before. We would like to thank NANOG for setting the stage for this convention and also making sure that we are properly accommodated. We are very fortunate to have our interests in network operations recognized by our professor and are grateful to him for bringing us here. We thank each and every one of you who has contributed to this conference, and I hope we meet again in pursuit of our interests. Thank you and have a good evening.
I just wanted to share with you some of the experiences that we have here going on here at NANOG, and through your contribution as members, what you help build for the future. So thank you for being patient. It's not part of our traditional closing, but I really think that there's important things going on at NANOG besides just our conference. So with that said, here's some statistics, my usual statistics, which we'll post probably in a couple weeks and summarize this meeting in more detail, but we had 1,079 folks that actually picked up a badge and checked in, which means this is the second largest NANOG meeting ever. And certainly the largest meeting in February. There were 808 folks here that were non-members. So I would certainly encourage those 800 folks to consider the value proposition of becoming a member, so you can be part of growing NANOG, just not, just being in the meeting attendance space, but that's okay too. Member registration, there were only 271. We have, I think, when I started here today, or started arriving at this meeting, we had like 676. So it'll be interesting to see how that changed from the beginning of the meeting through last night in Beer and Gear. Student registration outside of the college immersion program was 21. So thank you all students who made the extra time to come to this meeting. Thank you. 27 speakers gave up their time and put together the presentation material to bring together a great program. We had one individual that was actually from the press speaking with you. As indicated, we had 12 college immersion students officially. And the last number, important I think to all of us, is the increased awareness of female attendance in our industry, or in our industry. So 10% is the highest number ever of female representation at a NANOG meeting. NANOG statistics, I could go through the whole list, but I wanted to share with you who sent the most attendees to NANOG. Juniper and NTT. Not giving you the complete breakdown here of the attendance by country, but just keeping with when I market NANOG to various hotels or other industries that I talk to, I say we have between 25 and 30 different nations represented in the diversity of our attendee base, so you didn't let me down. Thank you very much. The NANOG 66 organizations is registered. So this is self-selection. This is not me trying to go through the registration database and putting folks in buckets. This is you indicating what area of the industry that you represent. So a little hard to see with this blue slide for me. The largest attendance, I think, if I read that, is the Internet Operators community. This, which is, as I recall, 19%. No, that's ISP, I know, Internet Service Providers, excuse me. The next largest group represented was Internet Exchange Operators. Slight difference there, difference in the type of work, but an area that we do look at. And then, of course, the big chunk as well is the network operator. So what this tells me is we have a lot of diversity in our population, but our core is still internet operations. And a special thank you to Alyssa Miller, who many of you know takes care of the sponsorship activity for us. It's a big task, and we appreciate her work on our behalf. The network team, there's a whole host of folks listed: Eric, James, Con, Nick, Scott. They begin planning the next meeting as soon as the first one concludes. So we'll be returning as a team to Chicago for a return site visit to get going on the meeting in June. And thank them for all their work, not only at the meeting, but leading up to it. We couldn't do these meetings without the event support staff. They're sort of the unsung heroes. You'll see them at registration and making sure that you're fed well and the tables are cleared. And our event support staff do a great job along the way to help us be successful. So thank them to them as well. Round. All right. And we could not do the show at the cost that you pay without all of these sponsors. They make it possible that we can do the kind of quality work that I'm able to bring to you. So thank you to all of them that are with us throughout the year and specifically at NANOG 66. There's sponsors within our community that are not able to make the big annual dollar commitment to be premiums, but they are here in droves to take individual meeting sponsorship opportunities. And I wanted to share with you as an audience, just so that you understand the balance. NANOG is in the sponsorship model is not like a traditional exhibit or event activity that most marketing departments participate in. So all of the engineers in the room that are able to convince their marketing individuals to participate in the limited kind of show activity that they have direct access, this list is a thank you to all of them for being here. Save the dates. NANOG on the Road is coming back this year, even though the website doesn't have specific dates. We are in the process of securing locations, but if you don't see a site on this list that you would like us to consider, contact me. Little formatting issue there. But these are the cities that we're planning on going to, so keep them in mind in those months as we publish the actual dates and agendas, and help us promote NANOG on the Road by bringing your junior engineers to a mini NANOG. Save the dates for the future NANOG conferences. This is not only important for your calendars, so you can know what's coming up, it's also important for me to show potential hosts that want to be represented and associated with NANOG where there's an opportunity. I think if you talk to anyone who's hosted before or who's signed up to host, there's a lot of value in hosting a NANOG meeting, and we hope we make it easy. The big one, as I indicated on this list, is NANOG 67, and I wanted to give you a heads up on dates. It's always interesting that we get, even before we get back to our home base, what's coming up, when's it happening? So I thought I would share some of what we call key dates ahead of time. So you would have in your mental registry when we're gonna open registration, which is important because that also means we open the hotel block. We release the CFP on that date as well. So around March 7th, NANOG 67 will become live. We publish the agenda on or around May 16th, and that is tied to another important date that's highlighted, which is the room block. We have secured as many rooms as we possibly can right now in Chicago, so I would encourage everyone to put these dates, and as soon as the room block is open, to start thinking about attending and reserving your room. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait to get here and have me try to find you a sleeping room. I won't be able to. Meet us in Chicago for NANOG 67 is officially released. It is going to be a great meeting. My guess is it will be another very large meeting. We haven't been in the Midwest area in Chicago in a number of years, so I personally am very excited about the venue in the city and all that we're able to bring to NANOG. And with that, launch of 67, I will close 66 unless you have questions for me. All right, again, thank you to all the volunteers, to the board, most importantly to all of you for being here. Thank you. We are done. You want to say something?